In this video, we're going to talk about how to solve a diagram like this when we're asked to find missing angles. So here they explicitly ask us to find the value of n as in November and m as in Mike, but along the way, we're going to go ahead and find all of the angles. There's only a few concepts that you need to know, and once you have these concepts down, you'll be able to solve all of these problems with relative ease. And I predict that once you learn how to do these, you're going to find that they're actually quite fun. The first concept you have to recognize is what is a vertical angle. Okay, so let me write that word down. A vertical angle. Because vertical angles are indeed congruent. Now notice, this word vertical contains the word vertex. And a vertex is where two limbs of an angle meet. So let's look at this 40 degrees. If we go from this 40-degree angle through its vertex, we hit its vertical angle. So this has to be 40 degrees. Vertical angle through the vertex, the angles are congruent. Okay? The next concept I think is helpful is that when they give you this symbol, which as you know means right angle, this little small box over here, I go ahead and I write in 90 degrees. All right, so let me do that. So I'm going to go ahead and write 90 degrees in here. That reminds us that we have this value. Once you have a value, look for a vertical angle. Go through the vertex, and there you go. N is going to equal 90 degrees. Again, once you know the value of an angle, write it in. Okay, this brings us to our next concept. And that is that when you have a straight line situation, the angles add up to 180 degrees. So here we go. See this straight line right here? That means all of these angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. So here we go. We have this, which we don't know what that is yet. Let's call that x. So we're going to have x plus 25 plus 90 plus 40 is going to give us 180 degrees. So 40 plus 90 is 130. Add 25, that's 155. So 155 plus x is going to equal 180. Subtract 155 from both sides, and this x value is going to be 25 degrees. Okay. Again, once you have a value, write it in. Once we have that 25-degree value, look for a vertical angle. Again, you go right through the vertex, and that gives you the value for m. So now we have this diagram completely solved. This problem brings up a very interesting point. You see this curve designation here? It's important to realize that the y goes from this line all the way to here. Let me give you some colors to better illustrate that. That y designation is from red line to red line, just like that. This 90-degree angle is from red line to blue line. Now, in order to find y, we're going to take advantage of the fact that we have a straight line situation. Here's your straight line. That means that this entire distance is going to encompass 180 degrees. So 55 plus y is going to give us 180 degrees. So 180 minus 55 is going to give us 125 degrees. Again, once you have a value, write it in. Okay, let's clean this up a little bit. Now, if angle Y is 125 degrees, and don't forget, angle Y goes from red to red. And if this distance here is 90, then what is this angle here? I'll call it Z. Again, to review, the entire distance to Y is 125. This is 90. So Z must be 125 minus 90, which is 35. So I'm going to replace Z with 35. Now I'm going to clean up a little bit. Whenever you get an angle, look for its vertical. We know that's 35. You go right through the vertex. That means x is 35. So x is 35, y is 125. Here, we notice that this is 90. Well, folks, if this is 90, then this much must be 50, because 40 plus 50 has to equal that 90. This gives us a straight line situation right there. That means this total is 180. That means that 90 plus 52 plus m is going to equal 180. 90 plus 52 is 142. And when you subtract 142 from 180, you get this to be 38 degrees. Okay, one thing I forgot to do, the minute we had this 50 identified, we should have looked for a vertical angle. And indeed, if you come right through the vertex, this is going to be 50. Another way to prove that is the fact that this distance here this distance here has to equal 180. And if you add up all of these, you will get 180. That confirms that that should be 50. Focus in on that 90 degrees. If this is 90 and that is 62, n has to be 28. Because this plus that has to equal 90. Immediately, folks, we have a straight line situation. All of these have to add to 180. 27 plus 28 plus 62 plus m have to give us 180 degrees. And I'll go ahead and let you folks do the math on that one. Next one. Again, we have this complicated construct here. Okay, this is a time to be very careful and recognize that this 63 is only from here to here, and this 90 is from here to here. Let me give you some colors. I apologize. So 63 is from yellow to yellow, and the 90 is from the first yellow all the way to the red. Folks, if yellow to yellow is 63 and yellow to red is 90, then this has to be 27, because this plus that has to equal 90. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. We now have a straight line situation. That means 27 plus angle A have to equal 180. This plus A have to equal 180. That means A has to be 153. Over here, they don't ask us to find this angle, but let's do it anyway. Let's call it angle Z. Again, when you have a 90-degree symbol right in the number 90, it helps remind you that you had that value. So now we have a straight line situation on the bottom. 63 plus Z plus 90 have to equal 180. Said another way, 63 plus Z has to be 90, therefore Z is 27. Let's do one or two more. Here we go. Another complicated construct here. Take it a step at a time. You know that this whole distance here, red to red, is 90. Okay. We know that this is 90. We know that this is 16. If this is 16 and this is 90, then 16 plus y have to equal 90. Therefore, y equals 74 degrees. Once we have y, once we have y, we know that we have a straight line situation here. Let's clean up a little bit, make it a little neater. Okay. We know that this is 16, y is 74, and we have a straight line situation here. That means this distance has to be 180 degrees. We have x from here to here. We have this being y. Therefore, x plus y has to equal 180 degrees. X plus 74 has to equal 180 degrees. That means x has to be 106 degrees.